Shooting zombies and surviving a barrage of mutated creatures was never more fun than in Resident Evil. First created in 1996 for PlayStation by Takuro Fujiwara and Shinji Mikami, Resident Evil is also called Biohazard in Japan. The Resident Evil franchise has now expanded into movies, animated films, comic books, novels, and TV series. It is also the highest-grossing horror franchise currently. So today, we are going to dedicate a video to the most underrated character in the franchise, Hunk. Before we dive deep into his lore, double-check to make sure you have subscribed to our channel so that you can keep enjoying the wonderful content of marvelous videos. Early beginnings. Hunk's childhood and early life, much like him, is shrouded in mystery. The first time we hear of him is in 1996, when he attended the military training center on Rockfort Island. We don't even know his real name, as Hunk is just his code name and is an acronym for Human Unit Never Killed. The Boba Fett of the Resident Evil universe, Hunk was sent on a lot of missions by the nefarious Umbrella Corporation, and he performed all of them successfully. In many of these dangerous missions, Hunk was the only survivor, because of which he was nicknamed the Grim Reaper. He was also called Shinigami in Japanese, which was often translated as Mr. Death, Dr. Death, and God of Death. The mistranslation also led to the kind of funny but also rad dialogue, "The death cannot die." Rumble in Raccoon City. In September 1998, tensions between the Umbrella Corporation and the lead researcher behind the Golgotha virus, Dr. William Birkin, reached their peak. Officials at Umbrella headquarters were becoming increasingly suspicious of Dr. Birkin, and their suspicions were not unfounded, as the good doctor was secretly talking to the US military to hand over the Golgotha virus, or G-virus, as it was a bioweapon. Moles inside the US military soon conveyed the treachery of Dr. Birkin to Umbrella, and they launched Operation Nest Wrecker on the night of 22nd November to retrieve the G-virus. The operation was undertaken by the elite security force, Umbrella Security Service, and the leader of the first squad's Alpha team was none other than Hunk. This is also the very first time we see him, as this forms the major plot to Resident Evil 2. Hunk led his men into the underground lab in Raccoon City through ceiling access ways and cornered Dr. Birkin. Hunk asked him to hand over the virus and come along with them, but Dr. Birkin refused, telling them that he would never give anyone access to his life's work, and pulled out his handgun. The soldiers of the USS are not ones to back down, and they shoot him down with their submachine guns. Hunk, assuming that the doctor is gone for good, picks up the virus samples, which had both T-virus and G-virus, and leads his team back to the extraction point through the tram and sewer of the facility. Hunk was unfortunately unaware that Birkin had injected himself with the G-virus, which caused him to mutate into a grotesque monster called G. G hunted down all the soldiers of the Alpha team, and the only survivors were Hunk and Goblin 6. During his rampage, G consumed all the G-virus samples and destroyed the vials that had the T-virus by crushing them with his foot. The T-virus infected the rats living in the nearby sewer and went on to poison the sewer water. The rats reached the local dam and poisoned the entire water supply of Raccoon City. As the virus spread and the outbreak grew like wildfire around him, Hunk remained laser-focused on his mission to retrieve the G-virus sample. Hunk's mission slowly moved from difficult to impossible as he had to face multiple obstacles along the way. The only other survivor, Goblin 6, died on September 30th, and the mission rested completely in the hands of Hunk. As Umbrella Corporation began to clean up their messes, they barricaded the front door, further hindering Hunk's mission, and he also had to fight off a T-00 tyrant and other newly mutated monsters in the city. Around a week after the fateful night of Operation Nest Wrecker, Hunk managed to get in contact with Nighthawk, Nighthawk, a pilot of the USS evacuation helicopters. Realizing that he might not make it out, Hunk surprisingly tells Nighthawk to leave without him, a truly unselfish act that shows how much Hunk cares about his fellow soldiers. Though Nighthawk agrees and plans to leave, Hunk beelines to the roof of the Raccoon City police station after getting rid of all hindrances in his path and tries to contact Nighthawk. Even his radio can't give the poor guy a break, as it keeps picking up various transmissions of Umbrella Corp, ads, a radio station, and even a desperate plea of a USS commando whom he decides to ignore. He resorts to firing a flare, which attracts Nighthawk, and he picks him up to take him away from the mutant zombie hordes. Hunk does not get to rest after this arduous mission, though, as he is immediately sent to deliver the G-Virus to Christine Henry, the director of the Umbrella France branch facility in the small village of Lorraine. In Resident Evil 2, there is a bonus mission after Birkin slaughters the entire team, where you can take control of Hunk to complete the mission of retrieving the virus and fleeing to safety. This minigame is called the Fourth Survivor, aptly so, as Hunk is the fourth survivor in the Raccoon City outbreak, followed by Sherry Birkin, the daughter of Dr. Birkin, Leon Scott Kennedy, an Italian-American federal agent, and Claire Redfield, a member of TerraSave, the human rights organization. The number 4 in Japanese culture is considered unlucky and might have been used here as a reference to Hunk's nickname as the Grim Reaper. In Japanese, the word of 4 is often pronounced as shi, which also means death, making it a fitting number for Dr. Death. While navigating as Hunk, players have access to advanced weaponry that other characters don't have. Special delivery to Rockfort Island. The next important mission that Hunk received was to transport a mysterious container to Rockfort Island. Problems arose when Alfred Ashford, commander of the Rockfort Island base, refused to tell Hunk what was in the container. This incident shows that even when Hunk might appear to be rather mission-driven at times, he does not do so while compromising the safety of his team members. Hunk wrote back to Ashford that a detailed report that the mission would not be possible, as transporting unidentified cargo could be extremely dangerous to his team, as they have no idea what threat the object posed or how to prepare for what was inside. Fall of the Umbrella. In 2003, after the Umbrella Corporation supposedly fell, Hunk was forced to consider a career change, and he soon earned the reputation of being a deadly mercenary. He also became an innovative inventor. He created a new fighting style called the Close Quarters Quarantined Battle Zone Fighting Style, CQBZ for short, that was inspired by close quarter battle and includes some custom weapons and equipment invented specifically for it. These weapons include the Bite Guard, an arm attachment that deflects bullets, the Zombie Jammer, a device that emits electromagnetic radiation to deter zombies, and the Zombie Beal, or the Brainer, a modified ice axe that severs the link between the spinal cord and cerebrum. All the games with Hunk. As we previously talked about, Hunk first appeared in Resident Evil 2. We were even blessed with a face reveal in Resident Evil 2 when players could unlock many files that acted as epilogues to the whole Raccoon City escapade. In one of the epilogues, we see Hunk without his mask after being rescued by the helicopter pilot, who admits his admiration to the soldier, telling him that Mr. Death survived a horrible mission once again. Hunk's face truly fits his entire demeanor, as he looks like a grizzled war veteran, tired of the entire world. As the pilot continues complimenting him, Hunk remains silent and gazes out. Resident Evil 4 omitted Hunk in the main storyline, but as he was cemented as a fan favorite by now, he can still be found in the Mercenaries mode. We are glad that they made this decision, though as shoving him into the plotline would have looked too forced, but now you get to play Hunk with his iconic moves and powerful guns. The success of the Mercenary mode influenced Capcom, the creators, to launch Resident Evil: The Mercenaries 3D, which included popular characters like Krauser and Claire along with Hunk. Hunk is the most fun character to play though, as he has additional weapons and incredible melee moves that can slaughter anything that stands in his path. Hunk also has access to a larger inventory than other characters. Not only does he have 42 extra spaces, but his tactical look gives him extra pockets and pouches to store stuff. In 2007, a spin-off game was released called The Umbrella Chronicles, which retold many classic stories of the franchise. One of the stories retold is Hunk's legendary escape from Raccoon City, which you can play with a first-person point of view as you face zombies and mutants while trying to contact the officials over at Umbrella Corporation on the radio. This is much more immersive than the fourth Survivor game and gives players more insight into the mysterious Hunk. Although not a playable character, Hunk pops up again in Resident Evil: The Dark Side Chronicles, specifically the Mercenaries of a Lost City campaign, which focuses on the escape of Leon and Claire from Raccoon City. We get a tiny glimpse of him as he escapes the lab with samples of the G-Virus safe in hand. Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City sheds more light on the role Hunk plays in a team. He is not just a leader, but also a protective mentor as he walks the Delta team and via them, the player, through the gameplay, which might be a bit action-heavy. If you are a Hunk head and are sorry that Hunk only sticks around for the first hour or so of the game, don't worry, you can play him in the multiplayer mode. The popular Mercenaries mode was replaced with the Raid mode in Resident Evil Revelations and its sequel, Revelations 2. In the first game, Hunk's role is pretty much indistinguishable from the one he played in Mercenaries 3D, but his character design is much more creepy as his eyes are bright red. In the latter game, with moves like throat slit and shoulder barge, he is one of the most formidable and reliable characters to play. The man behind the mask. No words can describe Hunk as much as the phrase "man with a mission." Cold and calculating, Hunk is a determined soldier who thinks of nothing other than the mission at hand. He understands that sacrifices are necessary for the success of missions and ruthlessly does whatever needs to be done. Skilled in various weaponry, Hunk is a capable and laser-focused soldier. He can send anyone flying with just a kick and can break necks like weak twigs. Sometime during his service as a soldier, Hunk developed a rivalry with Nikolai Zinoviev, the Soviet Army veteran who served the Umbrella Corps as a sergeant in the Umbrella Biohazard Countermeasure Service, or UBCS. Though the game does not explain how or why the rivalry developed, we can venture a guess that the Silver Fox disagreed with the way Hunk handled his missions, as his style is completely different. Nikolai prioritizes himself and makes decisions based solely on what benefits he will get from it, while Hunk is all about that mission and his team as well. Many fans have also theorized that Nikolai was jealous of Hunk and the admiration and respect he received from his peers. We can only hope to get a deeper backstory in the upcoming games. Hunk is also one of the few characters who seem to survive any scenario, but that does not make him as happy as one would assume. During the raid mode in Resident Evil Revelations, Rachel is partnered up with Hunk, and she tells him that it is pleasant to work with him and addresses him as Dr. Death. He is not too happy with that, though, as he quickly retorts that she would not be pleased if she found out what he did to earn that name. Being the sole survivor is a tough thing, and not once or twice, but multiple times. The survivor's guilt might be pecking away at the silent soldier. In the promotional campaign of Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City, a psychological report of Hunk can be seen, which states that he removed all traces of his human side side and preserved only his soldier side. Something like the Winter Soldier, but self-induced. But that is highly debatable, though, as he seems to react to the name Bella. Bella might be the name of a loved one, like the wife or a sister he lost, and the grief of which was so great that he decided to give up on his humanity entirely. We can also see his soldier side at times, as he is not surprised nor the least bit remorseful when his subordinate empties his bullets into Dr. Birkin. Instead, he just reminds him to be careful, as the bullets might damage the vials of the G virus. But this scene has been remade twice. One additional shot shows Hunk becoming very angry that the researcher was shot, while in the scene from the Dark Side Chronicles changes up the plot entirely and shows Hunk shooting Dr. Birkin without any hint of emotion. Theories about Hunk. Just like all mysterious characters, fan theories have gone wild trying to deduce the origins of Hunk. One of the most popular theories is that Hunk is the clone of Albert Wesker, the captain of the Special Tactics and Rescue Service in Raccoon City. Though Wesker was initially working for Umbrella, he later betrayed them as he began to believe that he must bring about the extinction of the human race. Wesker looks remarkably similar to Hunk, though they are not exactly doppelgangers, and it is also known that he is a skilled scientist, so he might have led the project to clone himself. Some also suggest that he has faked his death again and has been living as Hunk. But let's be honest, Wesker is not the kind of guy who would be satisfied with living a life serving others. Another theory suggests that Hunk is Billy Cohen, the ex-lieutenant of the U.S. Marine Corps and death row inmate who escaped from his imprisonment. Fans are of the opinion that Billy can be easily manipulated, and Umbrella has a lot of resources to convince a person to work for them. Unfortunately, this theory does not hold up so well, as we have seen Hunk's face, and he is nowhere near similar to Billy. Some game stats. Since Resident Evil is a game, after all, we can't skip on the stats. Hunk is often armed with an MUP, a standard handgun with a magazine size of 16, an ALE-5, a fully automatic submachine gun. He has two major skills. Active cloaking makes him completely invisible and silences your every breath and footstep. It also helps increase the power of his second skill, Assassinate, which allows you to pull out a knife hidden under Hunk's sleeve to quickly stab his enemies. Marvelous verdict. There are many unanswered questions about Hunk that only add on to the mystery of the character. Who is Bella? Why does he have a rivalry with Nikolai? What was his life like before he joined the military training center? All questions that can only be answered by Capcom. Hopefully, they will take pity on us Hunk heads and provide more information about the stoic soldier. What theories do you have about Hunk? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you liked it, please leave a thumbs up and share the joy. We will be back again with more explorations, and until then, stay safe out there and have a good one.